If you could live in any time in history, any era, any civilization, when would it be? Would you walk the marble streets of ancient Rome, sail with explorers into the unknown, or dance your way through the roaring 1920s beneath glittering city lights? Every generation looks back and wonders which moment in history was the best to be alive. That perfect intersection where art, science, freedom, and imagination all seem to peak together. But history isn't a straight line. It's a pulse, a heartbeat of rise and fall, darkness and discovery, progress and rebirth. So let's journey across time, through empires and revolutions, over deserts and oceans, to explore the 9 best times in human history to be alive. And by the end, you might just realize that the best era isn't behind us. It's the one we're living in right now. Number 9, Ancient Egypt, 2500 BCE. Imagine standing on the golden banks of the Nile. The air smells of lotus flowers and wet earth. The sun sets behind the Great Pyramid of Giza, still gleaming white with polished limestone, its perfect edges catching the dying light. Around you, markets hum with the rhythm of drums and flutes. Fishermen haul nets heavy with tilapia. Bakers pull fresh bread from clay ovens, and priests climb temple steps to measure the floodwaters of the Nile, the heartbeat of Egypt. If you were a scribe, a priest, or an artisan under Pharaoh Khufu or Ramses II, you lived in one of the most advanced and stable societies on earth. Medicine, engineering, and astronomy were centuries ahead of their time. The Egyptians could set broken bones, measure the stars, and preserve a body so perfectly that it would last forever. Life revolved around balance, ma'at, the harmony between humans, gods, and nature. To live in Egypt was to live in a civilization obsessed not with death, but with eternity. And though the labor was hard and the hierarchy steep, there was beauty in every grain of sand, a belief that life, order, and meaning flowed eternally with the river. Number 8, Athens, Greece, 5th century BCE. Now step into the marble brilliance of Athens during its golden age. The air is bright with the hum of debate. In the agora, men gathered to argue about virtue and truth, while sculptors carved gods into marble. On the Acropolis, the Parthenon rises, columns so perfectly proportioned they seem alive in the sunlight. This was the birthplace of democracy, philosophy, and rational thought. You could hear Socrates challenging citizens to question everything, or watch Sophocles premiere a new tragedy beneath the open sky. Plato and Aristotle were redefining knowledge itself. It was the first time humanity turned inward, asking not just how to live, but why. Athens wasn't perfect. Women, slaves, and foreigners had no political rights. Yet the seeds of democracy, reason, and artistic freedom planted here grew into the ideals that would later shape the modern world. It was a brief, shining moment when the human mind took flight, and the echoes of that flight still reach us today. Number 7, the Mauryan Empire of India. 3rd century BCE travel east to the great Indian subcontinent during the reign of Emperor Ashoka. Once a fierce conqueror, Ashoka witnessed the bloodshed of war and turned inward, embracing Buddhism and transforming his empire into a realm of compassion and enlightenment. Imagine the grand city of Pataliputra, broad streets shaded by banyan trees, markets rich with silk and spices, scholars and monks exchanging ideas from Greece to China. Across the empire, stone pillars rose bearing Ashoka's edicts, messages carved in multiple languages, declaring kindness, respect for all faiths, and care for every living creature. This was one of the first great experiments in moral governance, a society that sought peace through wisdom rather than conquest. Hospitals for both people and animals were built, trade routes flourished, and philosophy thrived. For a time, power and compassion coexisted, and the dream of ethical leadership became more than an ideal. It became reality. Number 6, the Tang Dynasty, China. 8th century CE, now journey to Chang'an. The heart of the Tang Dynasty, a city larger than any in Europe, alive with color, sound, and movement. Musicians from Persia play in tea houses, Monks from India debate philosophy in golden temples. Traders arrive along the Silk Road with glass from Syria, ivory from Africa, and ideas from every corner of the world. This was China's golden age, a time of invention and poetry, beauty and progress. Paper money circulated for the first time. Printing technology allowed books to spread. Artists painted landscapes that still hang in museums today. If you valued art and intellect, this was paradise. Poetry wasn't just an art form. It was a language of the soul. Li Bai wrote of moonlight and longing, while Du Fu captured the suffering and splendor of human life. The Tang world was open, cosmopolitan, and connected. Proof that curiosity, not isolation, is what makes a civilization truly great. Number 5. The Islamic Golden Age, 9th to 13th century. In Baghdad, beneath domes that glimmered like stars, the House of Wisdom stood as the beating heart of a new era. Scholars from all faiths, Muslim, Christian, Jewish, and others, gathered to study, translate, and innovate. Here, knowledge was sacred. Mathematicians invented algebra. Astronomers charted the heavens with unprecedented precision. Doctors wrote encyclopedias describing the circulation of blood centuries before Europe rediscovered it. Philosophers debated ethics, logic, and the nature of existence. Cities like Baghdad, Cordoba, and Cairo became dazzling centers of learning and art. Libraries held hundreds of thousands of manuscripts. Streets glowed with lanterns. Gardens bloomed with imported flowers, and calligraphy turned language into art. At a time when much of Europe was struggling through its dark ages, the Islamic world preserved and expanded the wisdom of Greece, India, and Persia, ensuring it would one day ignite the European Renaissance. It was a reminder that faith and reason need not be enemies. Together, they can illuminate the world. Number 4, the Renaissance, 15th century Europe. Now cross into Italy, Florence, Venice, Rome, where the air itself seems charged with possibility. Leonardo sketches flying machines in one notebook and anatomical studies in another. Michelangelo chisels angels from marble. Botticelli paints the birth of Venus, while Gutenberg's printing press floods Europe with ideas faster than any army could march. This was not just a rebirth of art, but of the human spirit. After centuries of superstition and fear, Europe rediscovered curiosity. Humanism placed people, their emotions, their potential, their reason, at the center of the story. For the first time in centuries, artists and thinkers were celebrated not as servants of kings, but as creators in their own right. Science, exploration, and philosophy intertwined. Da Vinci's mind, Copernicus's stars, Galileo's telescope. To live in the Renaissance was to believe that beauty, truth, and discovery were within reach, that humanity itself could shape its destiny. Number 3, the Age of Exploration, 16th century. The world had grown restless. Maps still had blank spaces. Imagine standing on the deck of a wooden ship, sails stretched against the wind, the horizon endless and unknown. The Age of Exploration was thrilling, terrifying, and transformative. Navigators like Magellan, Zheng He, and Columbus pushed the boundaries of the known world. Trade routes expanded across continents. Silk, spices, gold, and ideas flowed from one corner of the planet to another. Of course, it came with terrible costs. Conquest, disease, and colonization reshaped entire civilizations. But it also marked humanity's first true age of global connection. Cultures met, clashed, and intertwined. The Earth itself became smaller, more familiar, and more unified. If you were a dreamer, a sailor, or a scientist, this was an age of awe. It taught us that curiosity is both our greatest power and our greatest responsibility. Number 2, the Roaring 1920s. After the devastation of World War I, the world exhaled, and then came alive again. Jazz spilled from smoky clubs. Art Deco skyscrapers reached for the sky. Women cut their hair, shortened their skirts, and claimed their independence. The 1920s were electric, a celebration of modernity. Cars roared through city streets. Radios connected millions of voices. Airplanes shrank the world, and cinema transformed storytelling forever. It was the age of Fitzgerald and Hemingway, of Louis Armstrong and Coco Chanel. For the first time, young people rejected the traditions of their parents and defined their own culture, fast, bold, and free. Yes, the Great Depression waited just around the corner, but for one glittering decade, humanity danced, laughed, and dared to believe again. The 1920s were proof that after tragedy, joy could still rise, brighter and louder than ever before. Number 1, right now, the 21st century. It might not feel like it when the headlines scream chaos, but look closer. Right now, you are living in the most extraordinary time in human history. You can speak to someone across the planet instantly. You can hold more knowledge in your hand than the greatest libraries of the past ever contained. You can explore the depths of the ocean or the surface of Mars, all from your screen. You have antibiotics, electricity, democracy, and art. You have access to education, equality, and medicine that kings of old could never imagine. We live longer, healthier, freer lives than any generation before us. For the first time, more people live in peace than in war. More children go to school than ever before. We have mapped the human genome, created artificial intelligence, and glimpsed galaxies billions of light years away. Yes, our world faces immense challenges, climate change, inequality, conflict. But we also have the tools, knowledge, and global awareness to solve them. The future isn't something to fear, it's something to build. History isn't a ladder we climb, it's a mosaic we create. Every era had its light and its darkness, its geniuses and its tyrants. But each one built something that led to this moment, where all of human history, all of human effort, has converged into you. So maybe the best time to be alive isn't the past. It's now, because now is the culmination of every dream, discovery, and struggle that came before. From pyramids to particle accelerators, from stone tools to smartphones, humanity has fought, imagined, and built for this. The past gave us wisdom, the future gives us hope, and the present, this fleeting, beautiful moment, is where both meet. If you love exploring the real stories of history, from the glories of the past to the lessons shaping our future, make sure to like this video, share it with someone who loves history, and subscribe to the channel. Because the story of the best time to be alive isn't over. It's still being written, right now by us.